Hello everyone, welcome back. Hi, how are you dear? Welcome. Hey Ken. Hello. Hi everyone, how are you doing? Good morning. Hey dear Ken. Hi BMW guy, how are you? Welcome dear Spring. Let's write your good names. Ken, hi dear Ken, how are you? OMG, what's a good name, dear? Thank you so much for joining. Hi, dear Zayed Beg. How are you? Welcome. Me, yeah, it's you. No, I am fine. Thank you so much for your concern. Thank you for your prayers, guys. Can you do my cat name? Her name is Milo. Why not, dear? You know, I have a cat too, and I am a cat lover. Here is your cutie pie name. I'm from Uzbekistan. Yeah, I remember you, BMW guy. Welcome back. Hi. Oh, where is the sandboard blue capstone? LED. What? How are you? I am good. How about you? TJ. Hi, TJ. Welcome. Cool. Saudat. Hi, Saudat. Welcome. How are you, dear? Dear Ken. Hi. Welcome, Zaki. Hello, Zaki. How are you? Thanks, I'll subscribe. Thank you so much, dear. Let's try Zaki. Hey, Zaki, welcome. Hey, dear Roman, how are you? Here is your beautiful name. Hi, dear Ayat. Here is yours. Welcome. Hey, Isabella, how are you? Here is your beautiful name. Hi, dear Jia. Welcome, everyone. Hello, dear Parvish. Why not? Here is yours. Welcome, dear. Hi, dear Mia. Here is your beautiful name. Hello, dear Abdullah. How are you? Welcome. Thank you so much for joining. Hi, dear. Yeah. Yay. Lots of love. Thank you. Hi, Farhan. How are you? Here is your beautiful name. Thank you for getting to know me. Yeah. I remember you. Hey, dear Lars. How are you? Welcome. Thank you so much. Hi, dear Anik. Here is your beautiful name. Welcome, dear. Thank you for joining. How are you now? No, I'm totally good. Thank you so much for asking. But it was so painful. Lakshay. Hi, Lakshay. Welcome. How are you? Hello, dear Celine. Here is your beautiful name. Hi, Asma. How are you, dear? Here is yours. Hi, dear Eileen. Here is your beautiful name. Hi, dear Mahira. Here is yours. Always cat, dear BMW guy. Here is yours. Hi, Zoe. Welcome. How are you? Oh, so good to have you here, dear. Have a good day. Hi, Zoe. Welcome. Here is your beautiful name. Shania. Hi, Shania. How are you? Here is yours. Hello, dear Durga. Here is your good name. You have such a unique name, dear. Hi, dear Zen. Here is yours. Welcome. Hi, dear Noy. Here is your good name. Welcome, dear. Thank you. You're most welcome, dear Zaki. Thank you so much for all the prayers and all the support. Hi, Zainab. Welcome. Hi, dear Olivia. Here is your beautiful name. Welcome. Okay, Mubashir. Hi, Mubashir. How are you? Here is yours. Welcome, dear. Hi, dear Spider-Man. Here is your good name. Oh, sorry. Spider-Man, Spider-Man. Here is yours. Hi, dear Sharon. Here is your good name. How are you? Hello, dear Daraksha. Here is yours. Have a good day, dear. Hi, dear Daniel. Here is yours. How are you? Hey, dear Maxie. Here is your beautiful name. Hi, dear Toby. How are you? Here is yours. Hello, dear Priyanshi. Here is your beautiful name. Thank you so much for joining, dear Priyanshi. Here is yours. Hi, dear Lily. Double I? Yeah. Here is your good name. Hi, Byron. Here is yours. Welcome, dear. Hey, Sander. How are you? Here is your beautiful name. Welcome. Hi, dear Mahi Khan. Welcome back. I am good now. Thank you so much for your consent, dear. Here is your beautiful name. Hey, dear John. Here is yours. Hi, dear. What's a good name, dear? Manas. Natalia. Hi, Natalia. Welcome. Here is yours. Welcome, dear. Hi, Hifza. Here is your good name. Dear Hifza, how are you? Hello, dear. Oh, let me check. Destwari? No, Destwari? What's your good name? Hi, dear Ehyan. Here is yours. Yeah, John, I do. How are you doing today? Hi, Ilma. Here is your beautiful name. Welcome. Next is Mary. Hey, dear Mary. Welcome. Tejal. Hi, Tejal. How are you? Hi, dear. Okay, Destiny. Destiny is your good name. Here is yours. Welcome. Hi, dear Mahang. Here is your beautiful name, dear Mahang. How are you? Hello, dear Safa. Here is yours. Hello, dear KG. What a unique name you have. Here is a good name. Hi, dear. Oh, all right. It's all right. Not so good, not so bad, just average. Hi, Saga. Welcome. Hi, Rifa. Here is yours. Hello, the oh Kanji. Okay. Here is your beautiful name. Thank you so much for joining, everyone. Let's see who is next. Don't forget to press the subscribe button. Tess. Hey, dear. Here is yours. Hi, dear Huey. Here is a good name. Hi, dear Lozilla. Here is yours. Welcome. Let's see who is next. Tanvi. Hi, Tanvi. Welcome. Here is your good name. Navya. Hi, Navya. Welcome, dear. Here is yours. Hello, dear Nabila. Here is your beautiful dear. Azwa. Hi, Azwa. Here is yours. Hi, dear Taiba. Hello, Taiba. Welcome. Here is your beautiful name. Guys, don't forget to double tap on your screens. Next, we have Zara. Hi, Zara. Welcome. How are you? Hi, dear. It was a sudden wasp bite because I don't even know that what's going on with me. I was just about to take my stroller, like the butter, but there is a wasp on it, and I literally don't know about it, and I'm like, Mama, Mama. Oh my god. That's so painful, man. Hey, Afaf, welcome. How are you? Here is yours. Thank you so much for joining, everyone. Okay, Tayyaba, you want a screenshot of your beautiful name? Go for it, dear. Kenya, hi Kenya, welcome. How are you? Guys, she wants a screenshot, so she is taking. Just give her 1 minute. Hi, Zamran. Hi, Zamran. Welcome back. Hi, Gurleen. I am good. How about you? I am good too, dear. Thank you for asking. You have no signatures for Tayyiba. Okay. There is hard to sign on the sand, but I think. How is it, dear? Did you like? Let's write Vihan. Hi, Vihan. Welcome. Here is your beautiful name. Thanks. You're most welcome, dear. Hi, Seher. How are you? Here is yours. Welcome. Here is your beautiful name. Let's see. Kenzie is here. Hi, dear Kenzie. How are you? Here is your good name. Hi, Gurleen, dear. How are you? Here is yours. Welcome. Hi, dear Rayan. Here is your good name. How are you? Hi, dear Varushan. Varushan. Oh, what a unique name you have. Here is yours. Hello, dear Angelo. Here is your beautiful name. Welcome. Hi, Ariba. Here is yours. Thank you so much for joining. Bye bye, BMW guy. Take care of yourself and have a good day. Hi, Dia. Welcome. Here is yours. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Oh, you're most welcome. Lots of love. Hi, Asifa. Here is your beautiful name. Guys, let's see who is next. Mahnur. Hi, Mahnur. Welcome, dear. Here is your beautiful name. Hi, dear Parvan. Here is yours. Welcome. Hi, Isir. How are you? Here is your good name. Hi, dear Musammil. Here is yours. Thank you so much for your precious time. Here is your beautiful name. Hi, thank you so much. I am very happy. Oh, glad you are happy, dear. Hi, Monica. Welcome. How are you? Here is yours, Angel. Okay, dear Yana. Don't be sad. Here is your good name. Thank you so much for joining. Let's see who is next. Hi, dear Sharia. Here is your beautiful name. Welcome. Thank you so much for joining. Hi, dear Shubham. Here is yours. Welcome, dear Shubham. Hi, dear Ihsan. Here is your good name. Welcome. Yay! Oh, we have another Poppy. Hi, dear Poppy. How are you doing today? Here is yours. Hi, dear Nurma. Here is your good name. Welcome. Hello, dear Anmol. Here is yours. How are you, dear? Hi, dear Hasrat. Here is your good name. Welcome. Hello, dear Riyaz. Here is your good name. Yes, Zamran, because of a wasp bite on my hand. There is. But now it's fine. Zamran. Hi, Zamran. Welcome. Hello, dear Scarlett. Here is your good name. How are you? Hey, dear Samai. Here is yours. Welcome, dear Samai. Next to who's next? Angel. We have another angel. Hi. Here is yours. Hi, dear Sally. Here is your beautiful name. Welcome. Sasha. Hi, Sasha. Welcome, dear. How are you? Here is your good name. Anushka. Happy birthday, dear Anushka. Here is your beautiful name. May you live long and spend a wonderful life, dear. Here is yours. Hi, dear Rahma. Here is your beautiful name. Welcome, dear. Thanks. You're most welcome, dear. Hi, Asadullah. Here is yours. Welcome. How are you? Hi, dear Fatima. Here is your beautiful name. Welcome, dear. I think lab I just missed your comment. So sorry for that. Hi, dear Durge. Here is yours. Thank you, Sasha. Lots of love, dear. Thank you. Hi, dear Tur. Here is yours. Hello, dear Shivi. Here is your good name. Welcome. Hi, dear Grace. Here is yours. How are you? Hello, dear Daphne. Here is your good name. Have a good day to all of you. Batul. Hi, Batul. Welcome, dear. How are you? Hey, dear Hazel. Here is your good name. Welcome, dear Hazel. How are you? Hi, dear Sharanya. Here is yours. Let's see who is next. Hi, dear Zoya. Here is yours. Thank you so much, dear Varis. Here is your good name. Thank you for the love and support. Guys, don't forget to double tap on your screens to like this live. Hi, Ahmad. Welcome. How are you? Here is your beautiful name. Hi, Veena. Here is yours. Hello, dear Anais. Here is your beautiful name. Hi, dear. Oh, Rishabh. What's a good name? Aiden. Hi, Aiden. Here is yours. Welcome. Hi, dear Kumail. Oh, what a unique name you have. Here is yours. Welcome. Hi, dear Aman Sukhraj. Okay, Aman Sukhraj is here. Welcome. Here is yours. If you want a screenshot of this, go for it, dear. Thank you so much for joining. Don't forget to press the subscribe and like button, guys. Hi, Palak. And he's taking screenshot of this, so please give him 1 minute. If it's done, do let me know, dear. Hi, Amna. Welcome. Hey, Lavanya. Hi, Haley. Your name is on the thumbnail for this live. Hey, Jovan. How are you? Hey, Miss Ba. Welcome, dear. Uh, I keep us right together. Yeah, I had the same experience near my eye and back of the hand, but now it's there, right there, and it's so painful because it's sudden and I literally don't have any idea. Miss Ba, hi Miss Ba, welcome. How are you? Hi dear Haley. Here is your good name. Welcome. How are you? Hi, dear Shubi. Here is yours. Welcome, dear. How are you? Hi, dear Palak. Here is yours. Hi, dear Olia. Here is your great name. Welcome. How are you? Hi, dear Zahro. Here is your beautiful name. Welcome. Hello, dear Matab. How are you? Here is yours. Hi, dear Roma. Here is your beautiful name. Thank you for joining, dear. Hi, dear Lakshay. Hi, Lakshay. How are you? Here is your good name. Welcome. Hi, dear Luisos. Here is yours. Hello, dear Anshara. How are you? Here is your beautiful name. Hi, dear Anushka. Here is yours. Welcome, dear. Here is your good name. Hi, dear Sarla. Here is yours. Hi. Uh, yeah, it was so painful. Yael, hi Yael, welcome. How are you? Hello, dear Emmeline. Oh, Emmeline or just name? Here is your beautiful name. Welcome, dear. How are you? Hi, Adiba. Here is your beautiful name. Welcome. I'm doing good. Welcome back, dear moderator. How are you? Here is yours. Hi, dear Noor. Here is your good name. Welcome. Hey, Ellie. Yeah, I remember your name, dear. Thomas. Ellie. Welcome. Here is yours. Hi, dear Leah. Here is your beautiful name. Welcome. Next is Abira. Hi Abira, how are you? Sarah, it's my birthday. Hi Sarah, welcome. Happy birthday, dear. Yeah, it's fine now. Thank you so much for your consent. Hi Sarah, happy birthday. Hi, dear Teddy. Yeah, Irina. Hello, Irina. Here is yours. Hi, I have a cat named Mufasa, and he's the first beloved cat of mine. Oh, so cute, dear Mufasa for you. Nice name. Hello, Henry. Hello, dear Henry. Here is yours. Welcome. Hi, dear Yoss. Here is yours. How are you? Hello, dear Hirisha. Here is your beautiful name. Welcome, dear Hirisha. How are you? Hi, dear Jess. Here is yours. Hello, dear Arisha. Oh, Arisha is done. Oh, God. Hi, here is yours. Hi, Anabia. Welcome. How are you? It is a beautiful name. Hi, dear Vivian. Here is yours. Welcome. Hi, dear Anabia. Here is your beautiful name. Welcome, dear. Hello, dear Bhumika. Thank you so much, dear Bhumika, for liking the live. Here is your good name. Welcome. Hi, dear Ziala. Here is yours. What a unique name you have. Hi, dear Samu. Welcome. How are you? Hello, dear Melody. Here is your beautiful name. Hi, dear Damian. Here is yours. How are you? Hello, dear Bilal. How are you? Here is your good name. Welcome, dear. Hi, Samya. How are you? Dear moderator, how are you doing? Here is yours. Hello, dear Nitin. Here is your beautiful name. Guys, don't forget to double tap on your screens. Oh, can you guys hear me? Oh, yeah. Let's try Jason. Hi, Jason. How are you? Here is yours. Thanks. You're most welcome, dear. Zahra. Hi, Zahra. Here is your good name. Hi, Taha. Here is yours. Speak loud. Okay, I'm great. Thanks for asking. Yes, we can hear. Thank you so much for telling, and good to know that you are all right. Hey, Hallie, welcome. Have a good day to all of you. Hi, Sophie. Here is your beautiful name. Let's see who is next. Eva. Hi, Eva. Welcome. Hello, dear Dishu. Here is yours. How are you? Sad. Why are you sad, dear? Sad or sad? Here is yours. Hi, you are Indonesian. Oh, so good to have you here. Here is yours. Hi, dear Sania. Here is your beautiful name. Welcome. Let's see who is next. Oh, it's also my another cat named Hitler. Are you talking Hitler? Oh, sad to hear. Here is yours. Welcome. Hi. Hi, dear Jana. Here is yours. Welcome. Hello, dear Eileen. Here is your beautiful name. Welcome, dear. Hi, Simmer. How are you? Here is yours. Hi, dear Genesis. Here is your good name. Hi, Rahman. Okay, your name is Rahman. Here is your good name. Welcome. Hi, dear Shavon. Hi, Shavon. How are you? Let me check the spelling of yours. It's double V? No, it's VONNE. Here is yours. Welcome. Hi, dear Natty. Here is yours. Who's asking, are you a girl or boy? I am a girl, dear. Hey, dear Rudra, thank you so much for subscribing. Here is a good name. Hi, Alia, welcome. Here is yours. How are you? Hey, dear Hoxana. Oh, wow, what a unique name you have. Here is yours. Welcome. Hi, dear Suman. Here is yours. Welcome. Hi, dear Dave. Here is your beautiful name. Hey, dear Rain. Welcome back. How are you doing today, dear? Here is your beautiful name. Jan and Sarita. What's a good name? Yeah. Okay, now, no, no, moderator. Sayarifa. Hi, Sayarifa. Welcome. How are you? Hi, dear Mariana. Here is your good name. How are you? Hi, dear Charlie. Here is yours. Welcome, Charlie. How are you? Here is your beautiful name. Hey, dear Rosanna. Okay. Hey, dear Rosanna. Here is yours. Thank you so much, dear. Thank you. Glad you liked it. Rania. Hi, Rania. Welcome. How are you? Here is your beautiful name. Hey, Asia. How are you, dear? Guys, don't forget to double tap on your screen. And there is a subscribe button waiting for your finger press. Let me check the spelling of Asia. No, it's Asia. No, Asia. Asia, you have such a unique name, dear. Where are you from? Hi, dear. Okay, let's try Jungkook for you. Dear Army, here is yours. Hi, dear Suman. Here is your beautiful name. Welcome. Hi, dear Lija. Here is yours. Hello, dear Varsha. Hi, Varsha. How are you? Here is your beautiful name. Hi, dear Elias. Hi, Elias. Welcome. Here is yours. Hello, dear Anjuman. Is your name Anjuman? Here is yours. Welcome. How are you? Hey, dear Tanisa. Here is your beautiful name. Welcome, dear Tanisa. How are you doing today? Hi, Manha. Welcome. Here is yours. Thank you for writing my name. I love your channel. Lots of love, dear. Nazira, thank you. Really appreciate that. And Sultana. Here is yours. Welcome. Don't forget to press the subscribe button. Here is yours. Hi, dear Aris. Here is your beautiful name. Welcome. Hello, dear Hannah. Here is your good name. Welcome. Hello, dear Elena. Here is yours. Hi, dear Adia. Here is your beautiful name. Welcome. Hello, dear Fateh. Here is yours. Hi, dear Ima. Here is a good name. Hello, dear Logie. Here is yours. Welcome. Hi, dear Alicia. Hi, Alicia. Welcome. How are you? Here is your good name. Hi, dear Ryan. Here is yours. Welcome. Hi, dear Peru. Hey, Peru, how are you doing? It is a good name. Hi, dear Alia. Here is yours. Thank you so much, dear Rania. Lots of love. Really appreciate. Hi, dear Shanu. Here is yours. Hi, dear Gia. Here is your good name. Welcome, Gia. How are you? Mehrab. Hi, Mehrab. Welcome. Yeah, you have such a beautiful name. Here is a good name. Hello, dear Inaya. Inaya with I. Inaya. Hi, here is yours. Hello, dear Milena. Here is a good name, dear girly. How are you doing? Hi, dear Perneat. Perneat or Permeet? Perneat. Here is your beautiful name. Welcome. I am fine. How are you from Gia? I am good too, dear. Thank you for asking. Have a good day. Hi, dear Basit. Here is yours. Hello, dear Ubad. Here is your good name. Welcome. Hi, dear. No. Faisal. Here is yours. Hi, dear Kyra. Here is your beautiful name. Welcome. Hi, Vivek. How are you? Here is yours. Welcome, dear Darlene. Hi, Darlene. How are you? Here is your good name. Hello, dear Tawheed. Here is yours. Let's see who is next. Sad is here. Hi, dear Sad. How are you? Hello, dear Anas. Here is yours. Hi, dear Priyam. Here is your good name. Welcome. Hello, dear. What's your name? Zan. Okay. Zan in the chat. Hi, Zan. Welcome. Hey, dear Zia. Here is your beautiful name. Welcome. Hi, dear Hassan. Here is yours. How are you? Nimra Ali. Hi, Nimra. Welcome, dear. How are you, dear girlie? Here is your good name. Welcome. Hi, dear Anyek. Oh, Anyek 16. Here is yours. Welcome. Hi, dear Wadi. Wadi or Wali? No, Wadi. Here is yours. How are you? Hi, dear Golu. Here is your beautiful name. Welcome. Hi, dear Hivavan. Here is yours. Hivavan. Oh wow, what a unique name you have. Hi, dear Ali. Here is yours. Hello, dear Anisha. Here is your beautiful name. You all have such a beautiful names. Hi, dear Jana. Here is yours. Welcome. Hi, dear Bella. Here is your good name. How are you, dear Bella? Thank you so much, dear. Lots of love. Tess is here. Hi, Tess. Welcome. Hi, dear Anu. Here is your good name. Welcome, dear Anu. Hi, Yoon. Here is yours. Hi, dear. Good, thank you. You're most welcome, dear. Have a nice day. Hi, Kashif. Welcome. Here is your beautiful name. Hey, dear Anj. Here is yours. Welcome. Let's see who is next. Shraddha. Hi, Shraddha. Here is your beauty. Double D? Yeah, double D. Here is yours. Welcome, dear Shraddha. How are you? Hi, dear Faragis. For you. Here is yours. Hi, dear Gunan. Thank you so much for subscribing. Here is a good name, dear. Hi, dear Bunty. Here is your beautiful name. Hey, dear Fasley. Here is yours. Welcome. Hi, dear Anjali is new. Hi, dear Anjali. Here is your beautiful name. Hey, dear Eileen. Here is yours. Welcome. Let's see who is next. Thank you. You're most welcome, dear girl. Marjona is here. Hi, Marjona. How are you? Here is your beautiful name. Welcome. Hi, Isa. Here is yours. How are you? Hello, dear. Yes, Sam. Here is your good name. Hi, dear. Apra. Oh, what a unique name you have, dear Apra. Here is yours. Hello, dear Kiran. Here is your beautiful name. Guys, don't forget to double tap on your screens, and there is a subscribe button. Waiting for your finger press. Melody. Here is yours. Thank you for joining, dear Melody. How are you? Hey, dear Ring Jim. Oh, what a beautiful name you have. Ring Jim is here. How are you? Welcome, dear. Hi, dear Essen. Here is yours. Hi, dear. What's your name? Imano. Oh, Hi, Emmanuel. Welcome. How are you? Hello, dear Eva. Here is your good name. Hi, dear Rangraj. Here is yours. Welcome. Hello, dear Manan. How are you? Here is your good name. Hi, dear. Hi, good afternoon. Had breakfast? Yes, yes, I had. Sohan Singh, welcome back. How are you doing? Thank you so much. And I am good. Thank you for asking. Thank you so much for all the prayers, guys. All the support. I really appreciate that. Hello, dear Niloy. Oh, let me adjust the sound. Let me adjust the sound, guys. Niloy is here. Hi, Niloy. Welcome. Hello, dear Pahel. Hey, Pahel. Welcome, dear. How are you? Hi, dear Sagir. Here is your good name. How are you? Hello, dear Lily. Here is yours. Welcome, dear Lily. How are you? Hi, Tarun. Here is your beautiful name. Welcome. Hi, dear. My name is my name is Ishal. Hi, dear Yali. Here is yours. Hello, dear. Thank you so much. How are you now? I am feeling good right now. Thank you for asking. Hi, Pushpa. Here is your beautiful name. Hey, dear. Let's try Kim. Dear Army. Here is yours. Don't forget to like and subscribe, guys. Please. Do me. My name is Hilda. What a unique name you have. It's Hilda. Hey, dear Hilda. Here is yours. Welcome. Hi, dear. Here is yours. Hello, dear. Thank you, Anissa. Here is your beautiful name. You're most welcome, dear. Thank you so much. We have Crystal. Hi, Crystal. Here is your beautiful name. Welcome. Welcome back, dear moderator. How are you? You're so nice. I love you. Thank you so much. Lots of love, dear. Thank you. Hey, dear Kevin. Here is your good name. Welcome. Hi, dear. Okay, let's try BTS for you. Dear Army. Hi, dear. Thanks. You're most welcome. Here is your beautiful name. Hi, dear. Let's write your good name. It's Neveeh. Here is yours. Have a good day. Hi, oh, we have another Lily. Hi, dear Lily. Here is yours. Welcome. How are you doing today? Hello, dear Krishna. Hi. How are you? Here is your beautiful name. Welcome. Hi, Amna. How are you, dear? Here is yours. Hello, dear. Hi. Thank you. You're most welcome, dear. Anjuman Shaheen. Let's ride Anjuman and Shaheen for you. Here is yours. Welcome. Guys, don't forget to double tap on your screens and there is a subscribe button waiting for your finger press. Thank you, sister. You're most welcome, dear sister. Umbrel. Hi, Umbrel. Here is your good name. Welcome. Hi, dear. Are you most welcome? Let's see who is next. Sania. Hi, Sania. Here is yours. Welcome. How are you? Hello, dear Inara. Here is your good name. Welcome. Hi, Sasha. Welcome back. How are you doing? Guys, don't forget to double tap on your screens. And there is a subscribe button waiting for your finger. Press Gola. Gola, what's your good name? Anu. Uh, is your name Anu? Hey Yalea, welcome. How are you? Oh, Auntie, yes. Hi Nihal. Here is your beautiful name. Welcome. Hi dear Raja. Here is yours. How are you? We have Mohidil. Hi Gagan. Okay. After this, Mohidil is here. Hi Mohidil. Welcome. Hello dear Malak. Here is yours. Hello, dear Gagan. How are you? Here is a good name. We have Sui. Here is yours. Welcome. Hi, dear Trisha. Here is your beautiful name. Welcome, dear Trisha. How are you? Hi, Zishan. Welcome. Here is yours. Have a good day to all of you. Hi, dear Ali. Here is your beautiful name. Hi, dear Asnath. Oh wow, what a beautiful name you have. Here is your good name. Hi, dear Arfa. Here is yours. Welcome, dear Arfa. How are you? Next we have Delano. Hey, dear Delano. Here is your beautiful name. Welcome. Oh, it's thick. Yeah. Sorry. Hi, dear Amar. Here is yours. Hi, dear Nikki. Here is your good name. Welcome, dear. How are you? Hi, dear Sadan. Here is yours. Okay, Arfa wants a screenshot of her beautiful name. So let's write Arfa again. Thank you for joining, dear Arfa. Here is your beautiful name. Hi, Sandhya. How are you? Sandhya. Oh, what a beautiful name you have, Sandhya. Welcome. Askia. Hi Askia, welcome. Thank you for subscribing. She's taking screenshots, so just give her 1 minute. Guys, don't forget to double tap on your screens. Hello, hi Hiba, welcome back. Okay, let's write Askia. Here is your beautiful name, dear Askia. How are you? Hello, dear Trent. Here is yours. Welcome. Hello, dear Ahmad. Here is yours. How are you? Hi, dear Anushka. Here is your beautiful name. Welcome. And who is Sandhya? Hi, Sandhya. Welcome. Oh, it's Sandhya here. Hi, Sandhya. How are you, dear? Welcome. Malia. Hey, dear Malia. How are you? Here is your beautiful name. Thank you so much for joining, dear. Here is yours. But why not? Hi, Hiba. How are you? Here is your beautiful name. Welcome. Hi, dear Hamail. Here is yours. Welcome. Hello, dear Nirvana. How are you? Here is your beautiful name. Welcome, dear Nirvana. Hi, Safa. How are you? Here is yours. Hello, dear Azan. Here is your beautiful name. Hi, dear Aruhi. Hi, Aruhi. Welcome. Here is yours. Hi. Hiba. We have another Hiba. Hello, Hiba. Welcome. Hi, Yara. How are you? Here is your beautiful name. Hi, dear Aidan. Here is yours. Welcome, dear Hayden. How are you? Hi, dear Shambhavi. Hi, Shambhavi. Welcome. How are you? Here is your beautiful name. Welcome, dear. Hi, I'm good. How about you? Ambika. Hi, Ambika. Welcome. Here is yours. Hi, dear Sumaira. Happy birthday, dear Sumaira. Here is your beautiful name. Thank you for joining. Hi, Hafsa. Here is yours. Welcome. Hello, dear Shubi. Here is your beautiful name. Thank you for joining dear Shubi. Don't forget to double tap on your screens, and there is a subscribe button waiting for your finger press. Next is Meerab. Hi Meerab, how are you? Here is yours. Hello dear Rayman. Here is yours. How are you? Hi dear Emma. Here is your good name. Welcome dear Emma. How are you? Hi dear Hussein. Oh wow. What a unique name you have, dear Hussein. Here is yours. Welcome. Hi, dear Nishita. Nishita is here. Hi, Nishita. How are you? Here is your beautiful name. Hi, Mahnood. Welcome. Here is yours. Hello, dear Farise. Oh, wow. What a good name you have. Let's write Farise. Parise. Oh, Parise. Okay. Hi, dear Taboo. Here is yours. Welcome. Hello, dear Imama. Here is your beautiful name. Welcome. How are you? Hi, Dawood. Here is your beautiful name. Hello, dear Junaid. Merhaba, Niselson. Here is yours. Hi, dear Eliza. Here is your beautiful name. Welcome, dear. How are you? Hi, dear Luna. Here is yours. How are you, dear? Hi, Farzana. Here is your beautiful name. Dear Farzana. Hello, dear Arab. Here is yours. Welcome. Hi, Noor. How are you? Here is yours. Hello, dear Leilani. Okay, why not? Leilani is here. Here is your beautiful name. Guys, don't forget to double tap on your screens. Let's see who's gonna be the 70 liker. Hi, Asad. How are you? Here is yours. How are you in the sky? Ryan, hi. Here is yours. Hello, dear Vanya. Here is your beautiful name. Hi, dear Amel. Here is yours. Welcome. Let's see who is next. Hi, Ali. Oh, we have another Ali. Oh, wow. Here is yours. Hello, dear Arbaz. Here is your beautiful name. How are you? Hello, dear Rania. Oh, Rania is here. Hi, Rania. Welcome. Thank you. You're most welcome, dear. Don't forget to double tap on your screens to like this live. And Saira. Hi, Saira. Welcome. How are you? Hello, dear Mira. Here is your good name. Welcome. Hi, dear Demetric. What a name you have. Here is yours. You're most welcome, dear. Thank you. Devita. Hi, Devita. Welcome. Hi, dear Camila. Hey, Camila. How are you? Here is your beautiful name. Hi, dear Sahin. Here is yours. Merhaba. Here is your good name. Hello, dear Harry. Here is yours. Hi, dear Kalia. Here is your beautiful name. Welcome, Kalia. How are you? Hi, thank you. You're most welcome. Hi, Rayan. Rayan. Here is yours. Sophia is here. Hi, Sophia. Sophia is here. Hello, dear Sophia. Tanu is here. Hi, dear Tanu. Hello, dear Aima. Here is yours. Hi, dear Evelyn and Gerunds. Hard to fit all this, but let's try. Eva, have to mute. Okay, so my voice is back. Hi Anisha, welcome. Hello to all of you. How are you doing, guys? Hi dear Inda. Hi Dua Aisha, welcome. Here is your beautiful name. Hi Alia, welcome back. Thank you for subscribing, dear. How are you doing today? Here is yours. Hi dear Shehzad. Here is your good name. Welcome. Hello dear Talita. How are you? Here is yours. Welcome. Aditi. Hi Aditi. Welcome. Hi dear Octavia. Octavia, here is yours. Hello, dear. Hi, Hasid. Here is yours. Hi, dear Ria. Here is your beautiful name. Welcome. Hello, dear Amelia. Here is your beautiful name. How are you? Hi, dear. Okay, I missed Aisha. Here is yours. Welcome, dear. Hi, dear. Oh, it's kind of hard. Okay, let's see who is next. Mustafa. Hi, Mustafa. Welcome. How are you? Here is yours. Hello, dear Roshni. Here is your beautiful name, dear Roshni. Hi, dear Vidya. Hi, Missy. Welcome. How are you? Working on it, dear. Hey, Amir. Here is yours. Dear moderator, I am still working on it, but waiting my voice to be clear. Hi Marjana, welcome. How are you? Here is yours. Hi, dear Aaron. No, no, no, no, no. A-E. Aeron. Here is yours. Hi, dear. Oh, BDS is done before, but if you are an enemy army, so here is yours again. Let's see who is next. Hi, Parley. How are you? Let's write Parley. Here is yours. Hi, dear Wingday. How are you? Here is your beautiful name. Welcome. Hi, dear Arjun. Here is yours. Welcome, dear. Hi, Simona. Hi, Simona. How are you? Here is yours. Hi, use some AI to scan your voice louder and clear. No, I don't want to use AI voices in my video. Like I'm talking about the video, not the live. Hi, Amina. Welcome. Hey, Ellie. Here is yours. Hi, dear Sham. Here is your beautiful name. How are you? Hello, dear Rushana Amina. Rushana Amina. Here is yours. Welcome, dear. How are you? Don't forget to like and subscribe. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Hi, dear Fifu. Here is yours. Hello, dear Ishal. Here is yours. How are you? Hi, dear. I'm okay. Oh, so good to have you here. Have a good day, dear. Hi, Arman. Welcome. Here is yours. Hi, dear Lily. Oh, we have another Lily and Ali are the lucky charm for this life. Hi, dear. It's means not air generated because your voice can be in a... Yeah, but have to record some of my voice recording part because of I had a throat, so that's why my voice is not same on the video. So I'm working on it again. That's why it's getting delayed. Ozdemir. Hi Ozdemir. Welcome. How are you? Here is yours. Merhaba Nisalsen. İzalara hoş geldiniz. Hi Nasim. Welcome. Let's have you write your name. Yeah, I do. My name is Ishal. Hi Summer. Welcome. How are you? Hello dear. Let's write mine for you. It is mine. Guys, don't forget to double tap on your screens. Ahan, hi Ahan, welcome. Hi dear Aldrich. What a unique name you have. Here is yours. Okay, you want a pure natural voice? Use some. Yeah, I do have. Hi Shahadat. Here is your beautiful name. Welcome. Guys, don't forget to double tap on your screens and there is a subscribe button waiting for your finger press. Manisha, hi Manisha, welcome. How are you? Here is uh, here is your beautiful name. Welcome. Hi dear. Let me write again, Manisha. Here is yours. Thank you so much, dear. Lots of love. We have Tamanna. Hi, Tamanna. Here is yours. Welcome. Let's write Alina and Wajiha. It's Alina and Wajiha. Here is yours. Welcome, dear. How are you? Hi, dear. Awesome. Here is your beautiful name. Welcome. Okay, guys, now it's time to end this stream. Thank you so much for your precious time. Hi, Pifu. And our last name for this stream is Fani or Sarah. Sarah, I think, yeah. We have Dario. Hi, Dario. Welcome. How are you? And looking for the last name for this stream. Oh, bye bye, Charlie, which is Charlie. And thank you so much, dear. Thank you so much. Lucero. Hi, Lucero. Marlin. Hi, Marlin. How are you? Here is yours. Last but not the least, we have Jorday, Aksa. Hi, Tahir. Why are you so angry, man? Looking for the last name for this stream. Buddy. Hi, buddy. Mehdi. Hey, Mehdi. Welcome. Lakshmi. Hi, Lakshmi. Lakshmi. Here is yours. Mohsen. Hey, Mohsen? Yeah, Mohsen. Hi, Mohsen. Welcome. Essen. Hi, Essen. Hello, dear. Okay, Javeria. Here is yours. Be happy, dear. Hi, dear Arab. Okay, let's see who is next. Guys, don't forget to double tap on your screens. And Indu is our last name for this stream. Thank you so much for joining. Don't forget to press the subscribe button and take care of yourself. Bye bye. Love y'all. Bye. Oh, we have Priyanshu. How can I forgot to write Priyanshu? Priyanshu, Sita, and you are from Iran. Oh, so good to have you here. Dasha, hi Dasha. Okay, we have Dasha and Pizza. Ananya. Last one is Infinite Chain. Yes, because I love y'all. Rizwan, Emilia, and Samira. Samira is our last name for this stream, guys. Now I'm going to end the stream. Thank you so much for your precious time. Bye bye. Take care. Love y'all. Bye.